Nobody thought much of her. A little black girl with quiet eyes and a soft voice, sitting at the edge of the courtroom, holding her father's hand like it was the only thing keeping her steady. People whispered, some laughed, and others just shook their heads. After all, what could a child possibly do in a room full of adults, lawyers, and judges? Her father had always been a man of few words, hardworking but overlooked. And today he was standing there accused of something he didn't do. The courtroom was packed. The air felt heavy, almost suffocating, and everyone expected him to crumble. But then something unusual happened. The little girl stood up. She looked at the judge straight in the eyes and said, "I'll defend my dad." A ripple of laughter ran across the room. People exchanged smirks. "This little girl, defend him," they whispered. Even the lawyers leaned back in their chairs, amused. But she didn't back down. She walked forward, holding a stack of papers that looked barely bigger than her hands. Her voice was small at first, trembling slightly, but as she began, it grew stronger, steadier. She started with the truth, the kind that couldn't be ignored. She told stories about her dad, how he worked double shifts, how he never complained, how he helped neighbors, and how he sacrificed everything to keep her in school. The courtroom grew silent. Every eye was on her. People thought they had seen courage before, but this was different. This wasn't just bravery, this was raw, fearless love, and she wasn't done yet. She began to unravel the evidence that the official lawyers had overlooked. She pointed out inconsistencies, missing documents, tiny details that didn't make sense. One by one, she dismantled every accusation, each fact landing like a hammer on the case. The judge shifted in his seat, eyebrows furrowed. The adults who had laughed just minutes ago were now staring in disbelief. She paused, looking at her father. He looked back at her with tears in his eyes, pride and relief mixing into one. And then she said something that made the room freeze. "My dad is innocent, and I will prove it to everyone here," before presenting the crucial evidence. She remembered nights spent sitting on the floor beside her father while he pored over papers. He had taught her the importance of truth, of noticing details that others missed, and of standing up for what's right no matter how impossible it seemed. Those lessons weren't just words, they were tools she used now, like a sword in her hand. She started with a witness who had given a vague testimony. "Excuse me," she said politely, "but can you explain why your statement says he was in two places at once?" The courtroom murmured. The witness fumbled. The lawyers exchanged nervous glances. Every question she asked revealed cracks in the case against her father. Hours passed. She presented document after document, showing inconsistencies, exposing overlooked evidence, and connecting dots that no adult lawyer had noticed. The tension in the room built with each revelation. At one point, the judge leaned forward, clearly intrigued, almost unable to hide his shock. Even the prosecution began to sweat, realizing that this little girl was dismantling their case piece by piece. During a short break, she whispered to her father, "Dad, don't worry. We've got this," and he whispered back, "You're braver than I ever imagined." Their small exchange carried the weight of years of love, trust, and shared struggle. When the final piece of evidence was presented, the room went completely silent. It was a simple thing, overlooked by the experts, dismissed by the adults, but seen clearly by her. It proved her father's innocence beyond any doubt. She laid the papers on the judge's desk with trembling hands, then stepped back and waited. The judge read them slowly. You could hear a pin drop. His eyes widened as he realized the truth. He looked at her father, then back at her, and said, "I've never seen a child defend with such clarity and logic. I find the defendant innocent." The courtroom erupted, but not in the way anyone expected. There were tears, hugs, and quiet sobs. The little girl hugged her father tightly, and he whispered, "You saved me today." She smiled softly, shaking her head. "No, we saved each other," she said. News of her bravery spread quickly. Local media picked up the story. People in the community began to see the little girl as a symbol of courage and determination. Children were inspired. Adults were reminded that sometimes the smallest voices can be the loudest, the most powerful forces for justice. Even weeks later, when people asked her how she managed to do it, she simply said, "I just wanted to tell the truth." That truth changed her father's life, her life, and the lives of everyone who witnessed it. Her story reminds us that courage doesn't have a size. Age doesn't measure bravery, and love can give you strength you never knew you had. When the world underestimates you, that's when your true power shows. If you felt inspired by this story, hit that like button and subscribe because stories like this deserve to be heard. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that even in the darkest moments, courage and truth can shine through. Remember, bravery isn't about being fearless. It's about standing up when it matters most, even when everyone doubts you.